Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to access subsequent case history. So this is what I mean. You're reading a case, you're reading all along, you get all the way to the bottom, you get to the decision, and the decision says judgment reversed or judgment vacated and remanded. Okay, that remanded language means the case is being sent back to a lower court. And oftentimes you want to know, well, what happened when the case was sent back? What did the lower court do with it? Well, you need to access subsequent case history to know that. And oftentimes there could be some really good additional information there for you that would be helpful for your research. So let's get right to it. I'm going to show you how to do this in Westlaw and Lexis. So here we go. So we're going to start with Westlaw. I'm just going to show you a case from the Georgia Supreme Court. Here it is, Jens v. White, decided by the Georgia Supreme Court, September 12, 2016. Right in the synopsis, it tells us reversed and remanded with direction. And if we would read the whole case, we would get to the bottom. And it would tell us that the trial court erred and that on remand, the trial court is directed to determine the merits of the reformation counterclaim. So judgment reversed and case remanded with direction. So it's being remanded back to the trial court. So where are there any subsequent decisions? We need to know. Let's find that out. Go up to your KeyCite bar. That's the bar with the tabs above your document. So it says filings, negative treatment, history, citing references. I hope you're using citing references a lot. But history, this is subsequent history. So let's click it. All right. Case A, Jens v. White. That's the Supreme Court of Georgia case that we were looking at. And remember, it was remanded. It was remanded all the way back to the trial court. Well, oftentimes you're not going to find trial court opinions, especially that is true for state court opinions. You can find from time to time, and actually with more frequency, trial court opinions in the federal courts. But since this is Georgia, the Georgia system, it would have been remanded back to the trial court, so down 2 levels. You'll see there's no case down there. Well, that's pretty typical, right? For a state court, pretty typical. I'm not going to find a decision there. But there is a Court of Appeals decision. So what happened here is it went from the Supreme Court down to the trial court. The trial court entered a new decision. That decision then got appealed to the intermediate court. So we can at least read that one. So we're going to do that. Case B, White v. Jens. And this one is decided on November 14, 2018. And right in the synopsis, it tells us, following reversal from the Supreme Court, the Superior Court, trial court, in other words, granted summary judgment for the purported owner. Purchaser appealed. All right. And then on appeal, the result is reversed and remanded. So it's going back to the trial court again. Okay. So that is how it works in Westlaw. Now let's look to see how it works in Lexis. So I need to stop share and open up my Lexis screen for you. And here we go. Okay, we're on to Lexis now. Okay, I'm going to put the same case in here, the same Georgia Supreme Court case. All right, and it tells us under disposition that judgment was reversed and case remanded with direction. Well, we know that because we saw it in Westlaw, but we can scroll to the bottom. Here we go. Okay, so on remand, the trial court is directed to determine the merits of the Reformation counterclaim, judgment, reverse, and case remanded with direction. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Go to the top, just like in Westlaw. You've got citing decisions and citing other sources. You better be using these a lot. And then history. Let's click it. It says there's 3 cases here. Okay, here's the case we shepherdized, the Supreme Court, December 12, 2016. And then here we go. Decision was reached on appeal by White v. Jens. And then it was appealed to the Supreme Court of Georgia, but writ of cert was denied. Just click the White v. Jens hyperlink, and that takes us to the same Court of Appeals decision, October 24, 2018. And as we talked about, the judgment was reversed and case remanded yet again, remanded back to the trial court. So that's how you do it on a state case, and it's no different for a federal case. So I'll show you. I'm going to run a new search. I'm going to stick with Lexis since that's where we are right now. Here's a Court of Appeals decision from the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. Okay, decided September 17, 2019. Disposition affirmed in part, vacated in part, and remanded. And if we scroll down to the bottom of the case, we're going to see the same thing. All right. We affirm the district court's order to the extent it granted summary judgment to the defendants on the false arrest claim, vacate it to the extent it granted summary judgment to the defendants on the excessive force claim, and remand for further proceedings not inconsistent with this opinion. So disposition affirmed in part, vacated in part, and remanded. All right, so let's see if we can find the remand. So go back to the top, click history. Okay, it says that there's no subsequent appellate history, but that's okay. Remember, it was remanded back. So it was at the intermediate Court of Appeals level. So remanded back means it would go to the trial court, and in the US federal system, that is the United States District Courts. All right, so let's scroll down. And here it is, number 4. This is the citation we were looking at. Okay, this is this case we were looking at from the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, September 17, 2019. So the next or the subsequent decision for that would be from a United States District Court. And here it is, summary judgment denied by the Middle District of Florida. That's a United States District Court. And here it is. Here's the link for it. That was decided January 31, 2020. So I click the case link, and now I can read what happened on remand. Okay. But I can read it, but I have to be careful because you should have seen the big red stop sign. So something in this case has been reversed or vacated. So I'm going to need to find that out. So this case was, or this US District Court opinion was at least in part vacated or reversed. I think I said remanded, did I? Sorry. Vacated or reversed. So we need to figure that out. Well, look at this. Subsequent history vacated by this case. So I would have to read this case too. So I'm going into subsequent history here so I can find out a lot of information. Okay. So that's how you do it on Lexis. I'm going to stop share for a moment. So then I can pull up Westlaw. So I should be back to Westlaw where we were previously. Let me put in that new case that we were just looking at from the federal appendix. Yep, same case. All right, we're reading along. We know in the synopsis here that it was affirmed in part, vacated in part, and remanded. So we want to see what happened on remand. Go to history. Westlaw gives us this timeline. All right, so Westlaw gives us the very first case. So we were looking at the Court of Appeals case, but a case doesn't start in the Court of Appeals, right? It starts in the trial court. Well, if we wanted to, we could read the initial case from the U.S. Middle District of Florida, which is a trial court. That case was remanded. I'm sorry, not remanded. That case was appealed to the case we were looking at, which Westlaw labels as case B. And if, as you remember, it was sent back or remanded back to the trial court. So there it is. Click on it. We can read it. But we got to be careful. Red flag. So part of this case or all of this decision was vacated or reversed in some fashion. Westlaw tells us it was vacated and remanded by this case on June 25, 2021. So I need to click it. I need to read it to see, well, what exactly was vacated? Was it the whole decision or part of the decision? So that's it. That's how you get to subsequent history. So make sure that you are looking at subsequent history anytime you see that language remanded. It's very easy in Westlaw and Lexis to do that. So there should be no reason why you are not looking at it. And frankly, sometimes frankly, you need to do that so you are completing your research. All right, thank you. Hope that was helpful.